Hello everyone. Welcome to Young Guide Podcast. Hello everyone. For those who come to Young Guide Podcast for the first time, this is the place where I mainly share two main content areas. The first is about finance and related issues. The second is the life experience that I have accumulated. When hearing the name Rothschild, many people immediately think of a wealthy Jewish family or a prosperous investment bank. The truth is, Rothschild was the largest bank in the world in the 19th century. In this podcast episode, we will explore the multinational cooperation of the Rothschild family and how it helped them achieve financial success. Additionally, we will clarify their relationships with European politics and the Jewish community. By discovering the story of the Rothschild family, you will gain a deeper understanding of the legends and the reasons for the success of one of the largest businesses in the history of capitalism. You will also learn how their wealth from selling old items was displayed in Meyer Rothschild's office and the role of bribery in the family's business operations. What did the Rothschild family do to promote the liberation of Jewish people? Meyer Rothschild established the Rothschild Bank in Frankfurt during a period of strong anti-Jewish activities. The Rothschild family was one of the wealthiest and most influential families of the 19th century. Everything began with Meyer Rothschild, born in 1744 and passed away in 1812, the famous patriarch of the Rothschild family. However, as a Jewish person in Frankfurt, Meyer Rothschild faced many difficulties in the early stages of building his career. In the 18th century, Jews in Frankfurt faced discrimination in almost every aspect of their lives. Their lives were confined to a ghetto on a narrow street called Judengasse, the street of Jewish people. Even this area was restricted by two gates. They were not allowed to live outside Judengasse and were prohibited from staying overnight in any other place. Jewish people were even forbidden to appear in public places such as parks, inns, cafes, and promenades of the town. Most of their lives were spent within the confines of the walls and gates of Judengasse. However, amidst that situation, Meyer Rothschild still started banking. Unlike most German towns in the 18th century, Frankfurt was a commercial center and needed the presence of a bank. Meyer Rothschild's journey in the banking industry began when he established himself as the top second-hand goods dealer in Frankfurt through the accumulation of capital by buying and selling these goods. He began to establish his reputation with a network of suppliers and customers of second-hand goods, which helped him maintain his position in the banking world. By 1800, thanks to his success in the banking industry, he was ranked as one of the richest Jews in Frankfurt. Some even tell stories of the immense amount of cash he brought in through his business dealings, to the point where bags of money were piled up around the Rothschild office. Nathan Rothschild expanded the banking business to England after his father passed away, passing the company down to 5 Rothschild sons, including important client of Meyer Rothschild, William IX, a prince and regent in Germany. Many attribute the prosperity of the Rothschild family to their relationship with William IX. When Napoleon declared the end of the dynasty, William had to flee, and at this crucial moment, he hurriedly handed over all of his assets to Rothschild. However, in reality, Rothschild only provided one service to William, which was managing his investments in England, and this was the real reason for the success of the Rothschild family in the early stages. Meyer Rothschild sent his son Nathan Rothschild to England around 1800. Like his father, Nathan transitioned from the textile business to banking. Initially, Nathan received orders from Frankfurt, but gradually he began to make his own decisions and conduct his own transactions. Managing William's investments in England helped Nathan transform from a merchant into the owner of a bank in London. But then Meyer Rothschild fell seriously ill on September 16, 1812, and passed away just 3 days later. In his will, Meyer Amschel Rothschild requested that his sons must work together to inherit the family business, a request that was carried out wholeheartedly by his sons without much motivation for profit. In the following section, we will clearly see how this unity has had a lasting impact on the Rothschild family. The Rothschild earned profits by lending money to governments and being under the leadership of the commander-in-chief. By the 1830s, the Rothschild had accumulated about £4 million, 10 times more than their biggest competitor, Paris Brother and Company. So what led to the success of the Rothschild brothers? Part of this success came from the profits that the Rothschild earned from lending money to European governments. In 1814, Nathan Rothschild officially sponsored England's war against Napoleon's army. But England was not the only country that the Rothschild family sponsored. France, along with the Holy Alliance including Austria, Prussia, and Russia, also faced many difficulties, and the Rothschild family was always ready to help. During this period, all of the intergovernmental payments that Rothschild carried out had one thing in common. Each one generated profits in two distinct ways. The first was a commission-based profit of up to 8%, and the second source of profit came from exploiting regular and significant fluctuations in exchange rates. By this point, the Rothschild family had established banks in Frankfurt, London, Paris, Vienna, and Naples, which allowed them to purchase currency at a discount in one market and sell it for a profit in another. Another factor contributing to the Rothschild success was Nathan's leadership ability. Essentially, the five brothers held equal shares and power in the business, and profits were divided evenly. However, Nathan's bank in England attracted the most capital, and his decisive, bold temperament was integrated into the bank's operations, which primarily focused on England. The banks of the other brothers gradually played the role of branches. Salomon, the youngest brother, often said that Nathan was like the commander-in-chief while the other brothers were like police chiefs. Nevertheless, their relationship never turned into a dictatorship. The relationship between the Rothschild family and the political elite sparked unwarranted sensational stories. At the beginning of the 19th century, European politicians accepting funding from bankers was completely normal. Investment tricks and bribes were used to exchange for insider information from the government or favoritism when the other party needed to borrow money. The Rothschild also participated in this activity and built close relationships with the political elite of their time. Specifically, the Rothschild family provided credit to influential figures to promote their relationships. For example, they gave personal loans to King Louis XVIII of France, the Prussian diplomat Wilhelm von Gambier, and members of the British royal family. But the most famous example of the Rothschilds' relationship with politics is their relationship with the Austrian politician Clemens von Metternich. The Rothschild not only provided private funding to Metternich, but Salomon, his younger brother living in Vienna, also supplied Metternich with internal information that he received from his brothers in London, Paris, and Naples. Metternich responded by sharing with Salomon information about Austria's political conspiracies, including preparations for war or taxation. These were highly valuable to the Rothschild, as they impacted their financial activities. However, there were also times when the Rothschild chose a more subtle approach, such as giving gifts to those with whom they wished to establish an alliance. For example, they once gave the Prince of Prussia a jeweled snuff box to foster a relationship. Although the Rothschild relationship with politics brought them many benefits, they also faced many hostilities stemming from fanciful stories. Participating in many major financial transactions made the Rothschild familiar to the public during the 1820s. However, this also sparked rumors that they were manipulating the political situation in Europe. Nevertheless, the majority of the fanciful stories and hostilities that the Rothschild family had to endure were not based on factual evidence but rather on economic competition and prejudice against Jews. The Rothschild family never forgets their fellow coreligionists and supports the liberation of Jews. The wealth and influence of the Rothschild family have helped them attain a special social status, despite their earlier struggles. For instance, the Rothschild owned prestigious estates where they hold dinner parties for the upper class of the time. They were even recognized as a noble family in 1817, an official confirmation of their privileges in society. The Rothschild also used their social status to advocate for the liberation of Jews. They never forgot that Jews were still the targets of a series of discriminatory laws and regulations, excluded from politics, and subject to economic and legal restrictions, such as land ownership prohibition. The Rothschild siblings called on their friends in politics to support the Jews. Salomon Rothschild and Prime Minister Hardenberg of Prussia were asked for assistance in granting citizenship to Jews. In a letter to his siblings, Karl Rothschild urged them to do more to improve the position of Jews in Europe. The Rothschild family not only aimed to help wealthy Jews but also cared about the entire Jewish community. However, they still faced criticism and satire from a cartoonist at the time who expressed the view that the Rothschild only cared about the wealthy and were indifferent to the plight of the poor. But the truth is that the Rothschild family has participated in many charitable activities. For example, in 1825, they donated money to build a new hospital. Nathan was also concerned with helping those in difficult circumstances and donated to some charitable organizations to improve the lives of the poor and sick. The success of the Rothschild family lies in their unique network of contacts and the cooperation among the five brothers. At least two factors played an important role in the admirable prosperity of the Rothschild. The first is the development of the network of contacts among the family members. They always try to find ways to promote communication with each other, such as Nathan paying extra for postal captains to deliver letters more quickly. However, the German post office frequently opened letters if they contained sensitive or politically useful information. Therefore, the Rothschild had no choice but to hire reliable courier services. Until the 1830s, when rail and telegraph opened up a new era of communication. The Rothschild courier service was considered the best means of communication. Because letters were delivered more quickly, and those who used the service received political and financial information the fastest, such as updates on the stock market before the general public. But the real reason for the Rothschild success lies in the cooperation among the five siblings. As mentioned earlier, Rothschild profited from exchange rate differentials between various European markets. The multinational partnership allowed them to conduct currency business efficiently. Looking at the five Rothschild banks in London, Paris, Frankfurt, Vienna, and Naples as a whole, they are the largest banks in the world. This multinational partnership allows the Rothschild to spread financial influence across five major financial centers in Europe. For example, in 1840, James purchased works by Rogier van der Weyden, Jan van Eyck, and Peter Paul Rubens. Perhaps the best explanation for their passion for Dutch artists is that they preferred secular subjects over religious ones. In contrast to other artists of the time, Dutch painters mainly created works with a secular nature. However, it is interesting that the Rothschild also acquired works with clear Christian imagery. It seems they were not overly concerned with the art of their contemporaries. The only contemporary paintings that the Rothschild family owned were portraits of themselves. The Rothschild also sponsored some of the leading composers and performers of the 19th century. The clearest reason for this is that they needed music to ensure the success of a party, and famous performers who had played at Rothschild gatherings included Felix Mendelssohn and Franz Liszt. Some say that the career of the Polish pianist Frédéric Chopin in Paris began in the Rothschild household. The Rothschild family's investments in railways made them a target in the social revolutions of 1848. Between 1830 and the 1848 revolution, the Rothschilds shifted their focus from pure finance to industrial finance. They invested heavily in the emerging business of railway construction. The Rothschild played an important role in developing France's railway network. However, as the ruling family in the railway industry, more and more journalists began to express dissenting views on the Rothschild. They saw the Rothschild family's activities as private monopolies and corruption. Things started getting more tense in 1846 when a train derailed on one of Rothschild's railways, causing an accident that killed at least 14 people. Shortly thereafter, the Rothschild became targets in the social revolutions of 1848, leading to a series of political and social upheavals across Europe. At that time, revolutionaries were not only concerned with issues such as freedom of speech and freedom of the press, but also with the problem of wealth inequality, and the Rothschild were seen as evidence of this disparity. As a result, Rothschild had to face threats to their safety, such as in Frankfurt where their house was attacked to the point of broken windows. Financially, they had to face losses in the form of government securities as the value of these securities plummeted due to the government's increased welfare spending to combat the social revolution and falling into debt in 1848. Rothschild suffered heavy losses and was on the brink of bankruptcy, but since the social revolution did not occur in England, the brothers in London were able to rescue the remaining four and ensure the survival of the family. In conclusion, the main message from the book is that the Rothschild were one of the wealthiest and most influential families in 19th century Europe. Renowned for their relationships with the political elite and their approach to conducting financial business. There are many legends surrounding the Rothschild family's development like a storm, but most of them are not based on facts. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Young Guide Podcast. If you found the content helpful, please share it with your friends and family. Additionally, as YouTube's algorithm prioritizes videos with more likes, if you enjoyed this video, Please click the like button to help our podcast reach more people. Thank you for your support and have a peaceful weekend evening. Thanks for watching.